Hello everyone and welcome, it's finally here. It is Rogers versus Emery, an FC25 manager career mode where I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I make the videos saying who we should sign, I make the match review saying Emery got all of his tactics wrong, I criticise some signings, I praise some signings. So I think it's time to do the most realistic simulation that I can to prove that I would be good enough to manage Aston Villa and I have a right to come on YouTube and say these things. So we're going to be playing through the season with the squad that we had at the start of this season. That includes the likes of John Duran still at the club. And we're going to be playing through the whole season and seeing if I can better Emery's results. So that's the third round of the Carabao Cup, the semi-final of the FA Cup, the round of 16 of the Champions League, and finishing 6th in the Premier League. So if you do enjoy this type of content, the only way that I know that you guys are enjoying it and want to see more is if you leave a like and comment down below that you are enjoying the series. And whilst you're there, why not subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, the first episode is me sorting out pre-seasons, the signings that I want to make, ins and outs, and getting ready for the Premier League season. So this one's pre-recorded. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a voiceover of it to talk you through what I was doing. The next episode will be live with the face cam right there for you to see. So again, let's get into it and see the changes I've made for Aston Villa. And I think you guys are probably going to disagree with it and comment down below. And as you can see, guys, Rogers has arrived. I am saving this club from finishing 6th position. I'm going to finish 4th, 3rd, 2nd, maybe even 1st. I don't even know. I'm going to win you some silverware this season as well. But first thing we needed to do was go straight over and figure out how we're going to play. And it is going to be wing play. We look at the squad here and decide who we need to get rid of. And there are some, dare I say, deadwood that need to go. Olsen managed to see out his contract in real life. Believe you me, not with me around. We're going to get back to him in January as we start to go through and get rid of some of the other players in our team. Now, Alex Moreno and Luca Digne offer an interesting proposition, but Moreno I can get a little bit more money for, so I am going to get rid of him. Courtney Hawes as well. You ain't living out your contract in the Rogers simulation. And in defence, I was kind of umming and ahhing about Diego Carlos. I'm going to see what kind of offers come in for him. We're also just going to get a load of these young lads out on loan, just to see if we can develop them in case this series does go across more than one season over this summer window. Matty Cash, you know for a fact I'm getting rid of him. See you later. Kane Kessler-Hayden can stick around, even though we got rid of him in real life. And then we get into some harder decisions, like in the midfield. Do we get rid of Jacob Ramsey? In this save, I'm going to keep him for one more season. Instead, I'm going to flick, because we have 3 left mids. You can see here I'm kind of flicking in between the lot. I'm going to actually try Jayden Philogene out on loan instead of selling him, because I think he is a very, very good player, very, very capable player, and I'd like to see him in my ranks, perhaps in a recall in January time. Leander Dendonki, see you later. Emi Bundia, see you later. We don't have time to keep these types of players around. Cameron Archer, he's not going to get any sort of playing time over John Duran. And then we sort out our coaches for the team, trying to maximise as many stars as physically possible, pretty much as many as the game would allow me to get in. And we actually finished with a pretty decent plethora of coaches. A lot of them are gold in that wing play category. But we have to move on to signings, right? And of course, we're hitting up the free agent market. And one free agent that really caught my attention, because he can play multiple positions, was Memphis Depay. Now, wanted a 3-year contract. He's already 30. I ain't too happy with that. I'm just going to go for a 2-year deal and then hope that he will accept it, which he did. No release fee for a 30-year-old Memphis. Come on, brother. You're literally named after a state in America. Wage-wise, I was trying to haggle him a little bit here. I was thinking 80 grand seems fair. He can have a milli for signing on, for coming over to England. And he kind of wanted a little bit more than I was willing to give here. He wanted 160 grand for scoring 5 goals in the league. Now, the way that FIFA works, you'll see it in the simulations later on, 5 goals, you can pretty much get it in 2 games if you're playing up front for a team like Villa that are going to be scoring a lot of goals this season. So I thought, you know what, let's incentivise it a bit more. Say 200 if you get 10, you know, because 10 goals in the Premier League, that ain't too shabby, Alonso. Don't know why my beard's gone all white there. Trust me, it is not. I don't look like, you know, that geezer from thingy. But please peep this out. So Memphis Depay is signed for Villa, right? We've got Depay, our first sign. What are those shorts, Emmy? What are those shorts, Emmy? Are they shorts or is he wearing boxers? But we're watching his medical here. Can confirm Memphis Depay can run on a treadmill Emi Martinez still in the world's most ridiculous shorts. At least Ollie Watkins gets some that... I mean, look at those bad boys. I get it, show the thighs off. I'm all for it, but it is what it is. But we need to move on to another free agent, and one that Villa have been linked with in the past. It is Adrien Rabiot. Of course it is. We want this French absolute dynamo of a midfielder at the club in this push to win Aston Villa some silverware and prove once and for all that ROGERS is 100% definitely, unequivocally a better manager than Unai Emery. Now, I was thinking free agent, probably same sort of calibre player than Memphis Depay. Let's see if we can literally just bang him on exactly the same deal. Now, he did want a little bit more money. Now, 550 grand for 5 goals. Yes, he is a centre mid. But again, the way we're going to play football, as you'll see, is very aggressive, very attacking. So I wasn't too happy with that. I'll give him the 85 because he is a very, very, very good and capable player. But I said, you know what? Come on, work with me here. That is a ridiculous bonus. How about 200 for 5? And I was thinking, that's all sorted. Well, no, he comes back again. Now I thought, I'm not going to haggle it anymore because I really, really want Rabiot at the club. I think he's going to be very important for us this season. And guess who hasn't changed out of his boxer shorts? It was Emi Martinez. I don't know if you saw him at the end there. But then we need to get on to selling some players. And first up, Alex Moreno. £12.5 million we have had offered for his services. Borussia Dortmund went up to 16.5. Very, very happy with that deal. Now, Brighton and Hove Albion want Leander Den Donker. Probably want a little bit more money for him. I don't know who that is. Is that meant to be the Brighton manager? Because he literally looks nothing like him whatsoever. Tried to haggle him up to 7. I thought that seems like a fair deal. Market value is only 4.7. However, they've come back with 5.4. I said, come on, give me a little bit more. Give me something to work with here. 5.75. You don't want to lose a player of that calibre over that type of money. And too bloody right. They, in fact, did not. Now, Ezri Konsa, untouchable for me. You ain't getting Ezri Konsa off of me. Not a chance in the world. Pau Torres at the moment, I don't have a replacement lined up, so I don't want to sell him to a Premier League rival as well. Matty Cash, Bayer Leverkusen have come in for him. Now, this is one that I was interested to see how much money I could irk out of Leverkusen. I believe in this save, they just lost Frimpong, so clearly they want to replace him with Matty Cash. But they were willing to pay £24.5 million, and I was very, very happy to accept that, and there's no chance that I'm going to be selling Yuri Tielemans under any circumstances. But let's look at the problem position, and that for me is right back. We've signed a new attacking player in Depay that can play across the front line as well as up front, i.e. can play on the wing, number 10 or up front. We've signed Rabiot to strengthen that midfield role. I really want to replace Matty Cash with a top quality right back. So I sent the scouts out. I sent them out. I said, let's do the thing. Dumfries already had a transfer. I was going to go for him, but, they beat me to it. Sevilla beat me to it. What can you do? So I'm also looking for left wingers as well to improve that spot because Morgan Rogers will be playing as a number 10. And the one that stood out for me is one that Aston Villa have actually been linked with in real life. I've seen him play against Villa at Villa Park in real life. It is Paulo Gusto. I know that Chelsea have a plethora of players, so they're probably going to be relatively easy to negotiate with. Now, they did try, I don't know why, they tried to get John McGinn off of me. And so John McGinn and 19 million. So I was doing a bit of mental mathematics in my head here to figure out exactly how much money they actually wanted. I thought, is there another player perhaps we could swap? I thought maybe Enzo Berenshia, because am I going to realistically use him in this save given his rating? Probably not. I thought Enzo Berenshia and 30 million seems fair. They got rid of Enzo Berenshia, and I don't know how I've managed to fluke this because this is a much better deal than the one that they offered me when John McGinn was in there. But I thought, right, you're showing your hand here. I think I can haggle you down. And absolutely, I did haggle him down. 32.5 million. I was going to go for Dalot, but his wages were very, very high. And I want to try and make it relatively realistic, this career mode. So I thought, let's get the cream teas out. Let's get the posh silverware, the posh china out. and get to negotiations with, I don't know what that picture is, but it looks dodgy as all hell, with Mauro Gusto to get him in at the club. Currently on £68,000 a week at Chelsea. I didn't want to give him realistically anything over 100 because I'm trying to keep the wage bill down. Obviously, we know Villa's struggle with the wage bill. I am getting rid of a lot of players. I thought 85 was pretty fair because he is coming from a rival club. He probably wants a little bit of an upgrade, and he was very, very happy with that. So that is our first non-free agency signing, Mauro Gusto. I wanted to get all of my deals done early so I can assess the squad properly in pre-season, and that involved a certain Karim Adeyemi. I want a world-class young left winger. I know we have Jacob Ramsey. Morgan Rogers, for me, is a number 10 in this career mode, but they were just so happy to get rid of Adeyemi. And look at that wage, £36,000 a week. Whip the china out again. They've all gone through the dishwasher once. Cream teas and scones on deck. We need to get Karim Adeyemi in. Only 22 years of age. Absolutely rapid. And again, much like Memphis Depay, I wanted a little bit of variety and a little bit of versatility in my attacking unit. And Adeyemi can play across the three behind the striker. We are going to be playing that classic Villa 4-2-3-1 formation. And he can also play up front. Now, he said he wanted £52,000 a week. I thought, hold on, rein your horse in a little second. You can have 45. And guess what? If you get 20 goals, I'll give you £1.5 million. That seems like a very fair deal. He comes back, haggles it up to 52. I was thinking, oh God, they started to get a little bit, his agent started to give me the side eye. She was giving me major side eye, as if to say, if you try and haggle us one more time, I'm done. And, you know, look at my face there. He looks worried. And I thought, if the game's telling me that I'm worried, guess what? I'm bloody worried. So have your £52,000 a week. We need to go and sell a player now to cover the costs that we are incurring. And that player was Emi Buendia. Eventually, I think it was Newcastle haggled me down to 16.5. In terms of pre-season tournaments, we're going to go slap bang in the middle. The middle tournament, decent amount of prize money, and hey, we'll get rid of Courtney Hawes whilst we're at it as well. I was trying to haggle a decent price for Courtney. A couple of clubs did come in and didn't meet the valuation that I wanted. In the end, I said, you know what, fair enough. Fulham, give him a chance. Let's go and play RB Leipzig. Openda going to be their danger man. But we have to sort out the team. Of course, I'm going to give Maatsen a start in the first game. I want to kind of rotate him and Digne, almost like how we do in real life, to be fair with you. I'm just sorting out the subs bench here to make sure that we have a good balance on the subs bench and we're not missing any major players out, like John McGinn, who was just chilling down there. But the team is set. Let's have a little look at the boys arriving. Leon Bailey in, Maatsen there, and then call me Rogers. Look at the quad sweep on that man. You can tell he clearly goes to the gym, and he definitely isn't hiding his hairline underneath that cap. But it is the tactical view, and it is Aston Villa versus RB Leipzig in our first pre-season tournament game. And it started okay, both teams having a decent little bit of possession, until RB Leipzig did get the ball and start to push the ball forward through Openda, who I knew was going to be their danger man. And a little lucky bounce there drops to Seshko, who we all know about, and a good, neat finish into the bottom left-hand corner, and Villa were left reeling. But then Rabiot winning the ball in midfield, and Kamara, Rabiot, and I think it was Depay in the number 10 this game, having some good link-up. Both our free agent lads there linking up nicely. Leon Bailey then slides it through to Watkins, and I mean, I've never seen him do that in real life, but if he wants to do it for me on FC25 in this career mode so that I can prove I'm the best manager in the world, he absolutely can. Tyrone Mings and Diego Carlos in absolute elation that Ollie Watkins has just scored this ridiculous goal. Let's look at the POV camera. You can see a sweet strike straight through the laces. Top corner. What could go wrong? It's the last kick of the game. We just need to see it through until half-time, and we did. Now, in the half, I did decide to make a couple of changes. It is pre-season after all, and I want to see how I can best balance the team to get the best results possible for Aston Villa. And I also want to try out different players. So it was Depay in the 10. We're going to swap a couple of things around. So Depay is going to go out wide. Adeyemi looks a little bit tired, so he is going to come off, and Morgan Rogers is going to slot into that number 10 role, as I want him to do this season. Luca Digne coming on to the pitch as well. And then I was kind of flirting with a couple of other substitutions as well. In the end, I went with Yuri Tielemans for Boubacar Kamara, I believe. Or did I actually take Yuri Tielemans back off? I might have even taken Tielemans back off. I think I did, and put John McGinn on. just to get that plus rating, because Yuri Tielemans really weren't doing it for me in this number 10 role as well. He wasn't particularly, doesn't fit the system, which is going to be a hard one for me to figure out going forward in this game. But alas, we have a very good subs bench, and I'm very, very happy for that. And those are the changes we're going to make going into the second half. Are the changes going to work? Well, Emi Martinez was put to work straight away. RB Leipzig had the best of the first 10 minutes of this second half, but after a little period of inactivity, Luca Digne with some fantastic work to set Watkins in. First time ball through to Morgan Rogers. And let me tell you, in that number 10 role, he is going to absolutely flourish. Only rated 75 because I'm using the initial squads from the start of the seasons. Dodgy celebration. He's definitely just seen the camera there and wants a little bit of action to get onto like Twitter or whatever. And then another lucky bounce, but Emi Martinez having the game of his life until we get caught short at the back. They play it in behind. And, you know, you can't stop a sweaty goal, and especially a Pender with the finishing ability that he does have. And that sparked me into a little bit more action as we look for some substitutes here. Amadou Onana is going to enter the fray. And I was also figuring out a way to get Gusto off because he was absolutely shattered. And I thought we're going to have to use the typical Konsa at right back, the trope that Aston Villa do every so often. And that's just going to have to be the way it is. I think we might need to sign another right back. And that becomes more apparent throughout this pre-season tournament. And then I was also going to bring on Yuri Tielemans in the end, despite his -1 in that position. Let's be honest, we all know he's a fantastic player and I can just retrain him in this save anyway. But Luca Digne, heavily involved as he was in the first goal, gets another good assist. Oh, actually, didn't he? Put it through to Watkins, but Rogers gets another goal. 2 goals since coming off of the bench at half-time. Luca Digne heavily involved. Is it going to be like real life where Luca Digne just renders himself absolutely incapable of being dropped? And then again, ball through to Rogers. Looked like we were going to clinch the game, but then we just have to see it out for the last few minutes to get a good first win under myself for Villa. And like I say, the clock just ticking down here. They have one final attack. No real danger from... Yeah, what was that? How on earth did Emi Martinez let that in? I'm sorry. But how? But Xavi Simons gets the goal. I was fuming, skip the celebrations, don't really care. And it literally was the last kick of the game. So, but we move on. 3-3 draw. We move on to Celta Vigo. Iago Aspas's boys come in to try and ruin my party. But I was determined to get the first win. And what I actually did end up doing, because of that late goal, was perhaps going into panic mode. And I think you can do that when you are in a pre-season tourney. So I switched it up for us to play tiki-taka football instead of wing play. And I was doing some heavy editing of the team, as is apparent by this frantic... It's like a work of a madman, isn't it, in there? As I'm trying to figure out what to do. I wanted to get Ramsey involved, and eventually we did. But it is Celta Vigo, first half of the game. I was going to give them 45 minutes playing tiki-taka football to see how it would work. Can we keep Iago Aspas at bay? He has like over 100 league goals for them. But let me tell you something. Celta Vigo started very strong. And Aspas on the ball already. And how about that for a finish? Now, I do think that Emi Martinez might have been able to do better. Clearly, I wasn't in a very good mood after that goal. And Rabiot does do a little bit to salvage my mood with an absolute thunderous strike from outside of the box. I'm keeping it coy, keeping my cards close to my chest, as we have a corner to deal with not too long after. And for some reason, we just allow Celta Vigo to play it right through the middle of us. And we are right back to square one. And we are getting dominated by Celta Vigo here. Adeyemi brings the ball down. And I want Rabiot in there to do what he's brought in to do. Bring a little bit of calm. Yuri Tielemans now picks up the ball. He is playing in that number 10 role. Adeyemi lays it off though to Ollie Watkins. Can he get 2 in 2? You're absolutely right, he can. An absolute blasted finish into the side netting. And we are back on good terms. Just need to see it out to half time. And absolutely, we cannot do that. So you know what's going to happen, right? As soon as that half time whistle blows, it is going to be changes galore. And there is a half time whistle. So we've got some big changes to make. We have some really big changes to make as Celta Vigo fans go crazy thinking they're actually going to get a win over the one and only Mr. Cool Me, Rogers. And they absolutely are not. But just to show you again, it was literally the last kick of the game. And I don't know how my luck is that the last kick of the game twice has done me. But it is what it is. We're going to go straight into the team management. And the first thing I'm going to do is absolutely demolish and get rid of tiki-taka and get back to wing play. It's what won us, well, should have won us the game against RB Leipzig, but again, last kick of the game syndrome did kick in. But it got us where we needed to be. Now, I need to do some substitutions as well. Yuri Tielemans in that number 10 role really was not working for me. And I'm also going to change up the formation back to our 4-2-3-1 with the left mid and right mid, because I think I changed it to 4-1-4-1 or something for this game. Was not too happy with how it was working at all. And yeah, Yuri Tielemans is going to be the first one to come off, just purely because Morgan Rogers done a fantastic job off the bench in that number 10 role. Depay comes on. Adeyemi's energy was slightly lower than I would have liked, but I thought I'll give him another sort of 10-20 minutes. Kamara comes on to partner Rabiot in midfield. They have a really good partnership. Maatsen comes on for Digne, and we're going to leave it like that. I know Paulo Gusto's energy is low. I'm going to have to address that right-back situation. If you have any ideas for a good backup right-back, please leave them in the comments below. As Morgan Rogers goes through on goal less than 10 minutes after coming on, and that is his third goal in 2 games. He hasn't even played 90 minutes yet, and he's got 3 goals. And now Ollie Watkins gets set through on goal by, I believe, Adeyemi it was, and it is 4-3. The turnaround is complete in less than 15 minutes. If anyone ever questions my manager ability again, look at that. Me and Ollie Watkins, we're actually best friends. He actually DM'd me and said he can't wait for episode 2 of this, and he actually told you all to leave a like on the video as well. But Rabiot being an absolute monster in midfield, and him and Kamara have a really good link up coming on. Also, Duran has come on now, and Rogers x Duran, you know the link up. We used to see it for Villa in the first half of the season, and he does get his goal. That now makes it 3 goals. Yeah, the little shush celebration, that's Duran in a nutshell. I know it looks nothing like him, but trust me, it is him. That makes it 3 goals and an assist in less than 90 minutes of playing time for Morgan Rogers. But in typical Aston Villa fashion, in typical Call Me Rogers fashion, we have to make it a little bit harder for ourselves. And then I missed this goal, but Morgan Rogers did actually get yet another goal, making it 4 goals. Look at this for a finish as well. That's absolutely beautiful. 4 goals and an assist in less than 90 minutes of playing time. 6-4, last kick of the game, so you know what's going to happen. Iago Aspas is going to get a little consolation goal. Pick the ball up, you melt. You're not getting anything from us as we go on to win. And now, unfortunately, the last game of this tournament didn't record. But as you can see, it was a very good game. We actually beat Bayern Leverkusen 6-4, leaving us now 2 weeks to get in a new right-back and possibly one other secret signing before we play West Ham in the league. And now, what did this do for us in the pre-season tournament? Did I bring in any revenue? Of course we bloody did. We won the pre-season tournament, and Aston Villa are the champions. First bit of silverware. Let's go get some more. And there you have it. Pre-season tournament won, because I'm an absolute G. Some of the best signings you'll ever see for Aston Villa, and some of the best deals for players going out as well. Now, I think we are ready, there or thereabouts, for the Premier League. I might need to make a couple more signings. I think I might need a backup right back. But next episode, we're going to be playing our first 2 probably games in the Premier League and seeing whether Emery is going to be quaking in his boots. Leave a like down below, guys, if you did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.